Okay, in this lesson we will see how we can create this interior office. So we have the chair that we created in the previous lecture. I've made some 8 copies of them. We have a center table, we have some small chairs, and then we have two dustbins. One, it can be a photo frame, or it can be a painting, or it can be used as a screen for projector. And then we have a table and some screen and some walls. Okay, so let's start from the chair. This is the chair that we created in the previous lecture. Now before continuing on, we have to clean up the scene to make it perfect. We can do that by going to Window, Outliner. Now Outliner shows you all the objects that we have in our scene. So for example, if I select the cube, it shows which object it is. So this is the first cube that we created, which we made into a seat. And we have two other objects which does not show any complete object, but it shows some pink color on this one mesh. And if I click on the next one, it shows that this is the mesh. Now why is it showing the pink color? Because it says that this particular node is connected to this object. Now if you remember, we made two mesh, that is one cube and one cylinder, and we combined them into one final object. So what happens is, in Maya, every mesh that we create will have two nodes attached to it. One is a transform node and the other one is a shape node. Now when we combine two objects together, the shape node will get combined to form one single shape, but the transform nodes will be left alone. But they will be still connected to the mesh. That is why you see this pink color. If you want to disconnect it and permanently remove these transformations, what we can do is we can select the final resulting mesh and go to Edit, Delete by Type, History. As you can see, that removes that transform nodes. So we'll have to do this for the entire mesh. Now you can do that for the entire scene. You can go to Edit, Delete All by Type, and choose History. But when you do this, make sure that you do not have any objects that are being smoothed. Now if you have smoothed with poly smooth here, if you apply the smooth and if you delete the history, then you will not be able to take it back to the non-smooth mode. Let's go ahead and continue on. And these are other cubes that we have. It is always recommended that you name each of these mesh corresponding to what object they are, so that it will be easy for us to recognize which object we are selecting. And these are 5 different groups for 5 different legs. If you open the group, you can see the individual pieces. For comfort, for easy usage and cleanup, I'm going to group all these 5 legs into one other group. So select all of them, Control G. That creates one group, and inside that group you will find all the other groups. I'm going to double click on this and give a name. This is legs. Now I will select all these other objects and press Ctrl G, and let's give a name chair. Now while naming these objects, it is always recommended to use a number at the end. The reason is, when you make duplicates of these chairs, it will automatically make the corresponding numbers, like chair 1, chair 2, chair 3, chair 4, and so on and so forth. So our chair is ready. Now let's go ahead and push this away from the center so that we can create the table in the center. Let's go ahead and do that. Create polygon primitives. Now I'm going to have a table which is going to have a hole in the middle. So instead of using a cylinder, I can use a pipe. As you can see, the pipe gets created in the center. You can minimize the outliner for now and go to the input parameters, and I can increase the radius. Now see how easily I'm increasing the radius. Normally you will have to go here and enter a value and find out if it is the correct size. What I actually did was, instead of selecting the number that you see here, you can select the label, any label you want, and then you come to the viewport and use the middle mouse button and click and drag. So that would basically increase this value or decrease the value. Now I can give a specific value here. I'll say 15, and I want to increase the height also, so I'll select the label here and click and drag. That will increase the height. I'll apply something like 10, I guess, because I'll have to bring it from the below the grid, above the grid. I'll go to the side view. Now if it is hard to find where your object is, you can also press F to get the selected object to fit the screen. The keyboard shortcut is F. Now I will use my move tool, or press W and pull it up. Okay, right there. Now I'll reduce the thickness a bit, sorry, increase the thickness a bit, so that I'll make it look like a table. I think I have to increase the height a bit more. I will select all these faces in the top, double click, select one and double click on the second one with shift key. By holding the shift key, you will be able to select all these faces. Go to the side view. I can see I want to bring this up to this handle, so I'll push it up somewhere there. Okay, that's good. Now let's go ahead and create some extrudes. Select one, hold shift key and double click on the second one. That selects all these faces. Now I'll hold shift key and right click and choose extrude face, and I can scale it down. I will do further extrude face. This time I will push it in. I have a problem now. Since I have turned on keep faces together accidentally for some other purposes before, now it has split all these faces together. Now if you get into this kind of problems, it is always better, instead of just pulling it back to its original place, you can simply undo. So I'll go ahead and do that. Control is it once, control is it twice, thrice, and one more time. Make sure that you do undo until you leave the selection, because if you leave an extrude with it in the same place, it would create lots of problems later. So undo until you lose the selection, and now we can select it again, and I'll go ahead and turn this keep faces together on. Right click, extrude face, and I can make it smaller. Control shift, extrude face. This time I can pull it inside. I'll make more extrudes, push it in, more extrude, push it out. This time I can scale it in, something like that. Good. Extrude face again, make it smaller, extrude face again, push it in. Okay, that's some nice little shape. Okay, I'll do a small extrude here also inside. Select all of them, right click extrude, push it in, right click extrude, shift right click extrude. Okay, that's nice. Now I'll make copies of this chair. So if I select, since I have made all of them into a group, I will select one object and press up arrow in the keyboard. That will select all of them. Okay, and I want to make duplicates. Now when I make duplicates, you notice that the pivot point of the object is in the center of the object. So when I make duplicates, or when I make duplicates and rotate them, it will be coming in the same place. Okay, so what we have to do is, let's go ahead and make sure that the entire group is selected. Okay, make sure that you have selected the entire group, because if you have selected something like this or some other objects, it won't work. So let me select the entire group, and I have to change the pivot point from the center of the object to the center of the origin. I will go to the top view so that I can see the grid clearly. I will use insert key from keyboard. Okay, insert key is usually placed above the delete key, and when I press the insert key, it gives me this option to move the pivot point, and I can press the grid snap so that I can snap it to the center. I'll turn it off, press insert once again to come back to move tool. Okay, now if I rotate, I can take the rotation tool, and if I rotate, I can see that it is going perfectly around the table. Now all I have to do is go to edit, duplicate special, go to options, and I want to have some 8 copies, so I'll choose 7 copies here because I have one already here, and the rotation value will be 45 degrees in y-axis. I can turn on instance so that I'll have all of them to be replicas of the same first one, so that if I make any change in the first one, it would affect the others. So I click apply, and there you go. So all our duplicated chairs are ready. Now let's go ahead and create the other chairs that we have. I'll go to the side view. Okay, I think any view will be good enough. And I'm going to create a profile of the chair first. So I'll go to mesh and choose create polygon tool. I can do that by shift right clicking also. And I'm going to use this grids as a guide, so I'll turn this on. Let me check the approximate length. Okay, so I'll create something like a yes shape. Okay, let me check the height. Probably I can come to here. Okay, going here, going here, going here. There you go. Okay, so that looks nice. I can pull these things manually a bit. I think I can turn off this grid snap now, and I can make this a bit slanting. Maybe this can go a bit backwards. I think that's good enough. I'll do an extrude, select the face, extrude face, and pull it slightly out. Okay, now we have to add some edge loops. Hold shift key, right click, and choose split polygon tool, and I can add polygons here just to connect them. I'll do the same on the other side. Great. Now I will make a duplicate of this. Control D. Okay, my pivot point has gone up here to the center. Now in order to bring in the pivot point to the center of the object, you can go to modify and choose center pivot. So that brings it to the center of the object. Okay, and this one also I can do the same thing, modify center pivot. Good enough. Now I'll create a cube for creating the cushion or the seat, whatever you name it. Okay, let me pull it up till here. I'll use the top view, which is easy to move. Okay, I'll just pull these things out. Till here. I'll pull this up. can go to edit mesh and choose insert edge loop tool options. I want to have some 5 segments with equal distance between them. Okay, that looks nice. And here too. Okay, and I can pull these center ones. A little up. Okay, I'll select all these 4 ones also a little up. Okay, let me press smooth and see how that looks. I think it's not bad. I can add one edge loop. I think I'll say 1 here. Let's say here. Let me see how it looks now. I think it's better. In real life, there will be a beam in the bottom, so that will be holding the cushion. So I think for us this is enough. I'll make a duplicate of the same, rotate it approximately 90 degrees. I can just pull this back. There you go. I think just to match up perfectly, I can rotate it further and push it slightly back. Okay, and this one also I will make it a bit more detailed. I will add some edge loops in all the corners. So let me just make it relative from edge. So just click and drag till this end and one this end. Hope that would make it better. Let's do a smooth and see. Oh, okay. I'll have to add some more edge loops. One probably in the corner here, one here, one here. Okay, one here, one here. Okay, hope that should fix it. Okay, I think I should have a couple of them in the bottom also. Let me press 3 and see. Okay, that looks nice. And I think I can have one in the bottom also, but it's okay. Okay. Okay, now I'll just duplicate the same to the side. Instead of creating the edge loops on them, do Control D and move it to the other side. Okay, we can do a little cleanup on this mesh also. Chair, go to Window, Outliner, so all of them are there. Select Delete by Type, History, which will remove all the history information that it has. I can group it, call it Small Chair 01. Okay, so this pipe is going to be the table, and I can also hold middle mouse button and move them just to organize them. And I'll have some more chairs. Now here's a little trick to create more duplicates. Now the chair has got its pivot point here. I can also go ahead and choose Modify Center Pivot to bring in the pivot point here in the center. Now here's a little trick to make duplicates. Along with duplicate special, we also have duplicate with transform, that is for Shift D. What it does is, if you make a duplicate and you transform it, you can either move, rotate, or scale. And if you do duplicate with transform, it would do the same transformation again. So let me show you. I'll make a duplicate, Control D first, and move it, give a little space. And now if I choose Shift D, see, it makes a duplicate and moves it the same distance as I moved earlier. So I can select all them and group them again and call this Small Chairs. And these chairs also, I can group them together and call them chairs. Okay, good enough. Now I think I can just select this up. Okay, and pull them to the left a bit. Okay, good enough. Now let's go ahead and create the frame. Before that, I think I can have the walls. I can create a cube, make it big, not too, okay, that big is enough, wider. You can give the same exact value, 100 here, 100 here, and probably something like 30 here. Okay, I'll pull it up from the side view. Press 4 and see what's going on. I can press this a couple of times. I can modify center pivot, push it inside. Okay, so that everything is contained inside the room. Good enough. Now I will just select these 3 faces and delete them so that we can see the inside. You can create them later, no problem. Now let's go ahead and create this frame and the table and the dustbins. So again, starting with a cube, making it bigger, wider, and thinner. Maybe something like 2 units or 1 unit is enough. Okay, and this will go to the wall. Can lift it up. Okay, it went behind. Bring it up. Okay, good. You can make it as big as you want or as small as you want. Okay, now I'll select the face, extrude face, and scale it down. Okay, and one more extrude face. This time I will push it inside a bit and scale it down a bit. Okay, and there you go. So that's the frame, and below that we should have a table. So I'll start with the cube again. Okay, small cube, scale it bigger, make it less wide, make it a bit flat. I can pull it up. I think I should use the same table height, so I can push this thing slightly down. Okay, and the width, I will make sure that it is matching up with this frame that I have in the top. Okay, that's nice. And it should be placed right here. I will go to the side view, push it in place. Okay, now I want to do some extrudes. I'll give it a little height, make it look a bit flat. Extrude, pull it up. Okay, and I'll select all these other sides, extrude face, pull it slightly out just to give a little thickness, and the base I have to add an edge loop. Okay, somewhere there, and again the same thing, double click, extrude, just to give some kind of a frame there. Okay, now I'll add some divisions here just to create some design. I'll go to the edge loop, multiple edges. I'll give how many divisions I can have. 1 2 3 4 5, probably 5, I think 5, and click. Okay, now let me select all these faces, extrude face. Now okay, if you like this design you can also keep it. I'm going to make it slightly different. I'll select all of them. I'll choose keep faces together off. Now I will do the extrude. Okay, comes individually. I'll further extrude. Slightly inwards. I'll further extrude. This time in and goes inwards. Good. I'm just going to try to experiment to make one more. I don't think it looks good, but okay, it's up to you. If you like it you can make it, if you don't like it you don't have to. Okay, so last couple of things. I'll have to create the dustbin. Now if you want you can create a NURBS curve and you can revolve it to create the dustbin, or you can also simply take a cylinder. Okay, I'll take the cylinder out. I'll increase the radius a bit. That's good enough. And height a bit. Go to the side view, lift it up. I think that should be good enough height. I want to turn off this subdivision cap. I'll make it 0. Select the top face, slightly make it bigger. Okay, and I will add some edge loops here. Oops, I don't want that many. I will have one here, and probably one here. Okay, and I can go to the bottom. I will select the bottom face. Oops. Okay, and I can scale it slightly inwards. Okay, good enough. I can scale it in here. Not too much of thickness, just very slight thickness. Okay, and one more extrude. This time I'll push it down and scale it in. I think the inside you can just leave it like that. I will just add one extrude here. Okay, so that is one dustbin. You can keep it here in this corner. Also keep it here, and one more here. Okay, you can have a corner table, you can have flower vase, anything you like. I'll create one last thing, a curtain. So I'll use a plane again, scale it up, rotate it 90 degrees, and scale Y. Which one? No. Scale Z. Okay, I'll make it something like 50. Okay, I think that's good enough. Go back here. I don't want to have any height segments, but I want to have only the width segments. I'll make something like 40. I want to have a lot of segments. And I want to stretch it, something like that. Now I'll go to the edge mode and I'll choose the alternative edges. You can just pull this slightly out, push it slightly down. All I have done is just pulled it out and slightly down. Now if I smooth it, it would look more like a curtain. Very simple. Now you can have a clock, you can have ceiling fan, you can have air conditioned vents. uh, it's totally up to you. You can have a laptop here or pen stand, anything. So that is the interior office.